Hey, you there! Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the northeast this time, ending with Team 2 in the southwest. Will I get them confused? I probably will, but hopefully I will not very much. Let's go ahead and start here with Team 1's Western player. They're working away kind of clockwise around their lineup, starting with the frontline player of Team 1's Mimis. He is a Cybran for this match as a 2200. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and tied for the highest rated player overall. He is in Snow White. To his east we have in Amethyst Purple Team 1 Snog as a Cybran as well. He is a 1900. Continuing on into the northeast in the at least one Rigard Ursula here for Team 1. It is Shalongdis as a Seraphim. He is an orange, the color orange, and he is an 1100. In front of him, the other orange player on Team 1 in Rust, or orange-ish at least, it is Glowstick. Definitely not the color I would associate with the Glowstick. He is a UEF here for this match as a 1400. To his southeast, we have a Tropical Ocean Blue Dusky 805. He is a Cybran for this match as an 1100. And last but not least, for Team 1, we have in the southeast, it is Smithers. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1700. And he is in Light Oak Tan, blending in with his environment decently well here on this map. So for Team 1's lineup, they have one of each of the factions at a minimum, with all of the quote-unquote extras going for Cybran. So one of each, plus 2 Cybrans. Running up for Team 2's northern player, they're working away counterclockwise this time. We have in Regal Blue the 1600 player of Lieutenant Lich. Different word, I think I possibly said there. He is a UEF for this match as a 1600. To his south, we have in Batman Gray Team 2's active backlash. He is a Seraphim for this match as a 1300. And we're going to his slot here for Team 2. It is in Stitch Blue. Bukar? I have no idea how to pronounce that name. I do apologize for the mispronunciation of that name. I'm going to call him Bakar for short. It's almost like Picard, but anyway. He is a UEF. He is a 1000 rated player. To his northeast, we have in Imperial Grey Strider. He is a Aeon for this match as a 1500. In Regal Purple to his southeast, we have Marie already making his way to the northeast direction. At least he is a UEF for this match here as a 1900. And last but not least here for Team 2, the highest player on Team 2 and tied with Mimis for the highest rated player overall. It is in Ruby Red, Nomander. He is a Seraphim for this match. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 Seraphim, 3 UEF, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 lacks Cybran technology. Team 1 doesn't lack any technology on their side of the map. And for these 12 players on the map, let's take a look at the ring situation currently sitting at, before they scoop it all up, currently sitting at 26,000 mass in reclaim. That means it is a little bit over 2,000 mass, probably about 2.3-ish mass per player to scoop up a hefty chunk in this map. And talking about hefty chunks as well, there are a lot of mexes to grab, especially in this kind of middle section of the map here. Such a nice little alleyway to the other side of the map here for both teams. Taking a look, let's say, at Team 1 side of the map, we have, we'll say this is Team 1's little outcropping. This is Team 2's little outcropping, kind of just how the map goes. There's a Trimex position here that actually Nomander is going for, but that does belong, quote-unquote, to Team 1. There's another Trimex position over here on this upper plateau. Another one on the beachfront property over there. And then a Trimex over there to the northwest. Any mechs is hiding in the rear guard, at least a lot of them. No, it's kind of a Trimex, sort of, kind of right here, but it's a little farther out that I would like to classify that as. And there are, of course, kind of this nice little question mark of mexes in the middle. So a decent amount of grouping with a lot of one-offs pretty much scattered around the map. There are a couple in the water for players to go after. Not super vital, but hey, who doesn't want an extra 4+ mass per second? If they can hold the Navy, of course. And of course, let's take a look at where our players are headed off to in this game. There is a little bit of pond on each side of the map. I don't really think... I mean, the main consequence would be this position here for Team 1 and, of course, the mirror for Team 2 is vulnerable to cruisers and other long-range fire in the pond. Everybody else south and west of that, at least in, one way or the other, not really super vulnerable, so Navy might not be that important, but it might be nice to have a nice little avenue for some bombers or something to kind of coast along the edge of the map. So maybe a player or two will go for that. I don't think there'll be that much investment, but probably just a little bit. The main focus is going to be on this middle causeway here. We have at least, kind of a lane right here. Definitely a lane and a little bit of a lane over here. This side of the map is pretty much isolated from the other side of the map unless you go through the water here or distance build. So it's going to be very difficult for units to traverse into the northwest to southeast without any sort of assistance one way or the other. So a lot of the land fighting is going to occur essentially on this upper plateau and this one down here and, of course, right down the middle, which, of course, players are headed off to in this game. We do have so far a 1v1 engagement here between Glowstick and Strider, looking like a 2v0 so far in this upper plateau here for Team 1. And in this other plateau here, we have a 1v1 scenario, possibly a 2v1, but it does look like a lot of focus from Nomander is on this lower section where his opponent of Smithers is hanging out over here. But of course, we do see that Nomander has grabbed this Trimax position that technically is on Team 1 side of the map, technically possibly not. But he probably will try to hold on to that the best he can. Upgrades have been started here for Team 1 and Team 2. I still haven't figured out why they're not popping up on the main screen like they normally have on my other machine. And again, this will be another shout out to if there's anything with either my voice or the sound of the game or whatever the case may be, please let me know so I can try to tweak things. I know I've had some responses where it's been pretty good. Sometimes the audio was a little weird. So I've changed a little bit on the audio settings. Hopefully that fixed it. If not, please let me know. Because, of course, I want to deliver the best cast I can, even if the scenario that I'm currently finding myself in is not the best for recording and all of that. We do see in the northwest, there's two calm advancement here between Snog and Mimes is coming up against Lieutenant Lynch, who has no units nearby. His teammate of Active Backlash has a lot of forces moving in to assist the frontline position of Strider, who has fallen into the yellow almost halfway. He's doing pretty well for himself, though, all considering. It is a 1v1, but possibly maybe 2v1, possibly 2v2 over here. This comm of Active Backlash has some options. I would definitely recommend, if I were to him, go north to assist this, because this is 2v1 with some assistance coming in all the time. So this could be vulnerable. So I wouldn't be surprised if that goes a little bit more northward than eastward. We have in the east, southeast, whatever direction you want to call this, a little bit of some TMD as well as some PD creep going on here from Mui. Mui continuing to push and go after these units that are inbound. He has T2 Engineering Suite on board, and he is a UEF, so very tanky in the fire base department. We'll see how that plays out here for him. And Nomander, it looks like he is currently fleeing. I don't know exactly where he's going, but just pulling back a little bit. And his opponent of Smithers has gun speed / range on board. So that will force back this outcropping of units. Essentially will kill any sort of avenue of attack unless naval units are deployed in the southeast. So far, none of them have appeared for the southeastern side, but the northwestern side, there is one facility online producing some Striders. It's not a Strider's Trident. I think I confused Strider's Commander or whatever for that name of the Trident. Anyway, maybe it'll go for T2 at a minimum just for cruisers, but they aren't Seraphim and not UEF, so they don't have missiles. Maybe we'll see some UEF or Seraphim tech, maybe. I just think, in my opinion, those are really nice to have missiles just to have constant bombardment and just annoy your opponents. If at all, again, I gotta say, annoying could almost be as good as just killing outright units or structures or whatever. It can just be the straw that breaks the camel's back in one way or the other. It does look like the southeast will be claimed over time a little bit here by Smithers. This position, I don't think is tenable long term. There is a T2 facility online, so we could see some more Ilshis, or some Ilshis at least, come online. But of course, there are some missiles so far going after the facilities here for Smithers. In the middle, again, things haven't really developed one way or the other. There's a little bit more of outcropping from Glowstick, who now has a gun on board. Strider has no upgrades on board, and he's not going any he's not going for any of them anytime soon, at least as of right now. This will allow Team 1 to push in quite nicely. And again, Team 2 being pushed back in almost every avenue besides this northeastern side, eastern side, I should say, where you're getting PD after PD after PD after PD. I think he's going a little bit more T2 than he really needs to. He really needs to go for T1, which he is going for now. It is helping dealing with all of these T1 units outbound from his opponent of Dusky, which of course is now down to just AA. And of course AA can fire air to ground, oh sorry, not ground to ground, not just air, ground to air. There we go. So it is nice. Accuracy is not great at all, but it's better to have some shots downrange. How is the air going here for Team 2? Team 2 almost at T3. Is Team 1 at T3 yet? Yes. Team 1 is at T3 air. Huge advantage for Team 1. Maybe early bomber would be nice to see, especially at 10 minutes. That could be really devastating, especially if it goes after the regardless player of Team 2. But the large armies in the middle do collide. Glowstick is leading his. T2 PD is actually leading active backlashes. Well, at least at the side leading them. And he's also, of course, building them over here and building up here as well to help assist Lieutenant Lich, who has some T1 PD to assist, and more engineers possibly going to help with an upgrade. I would not be surprised. Maybe T2, maybe gun. In this scenario where Team 1's already firebasing up, I feel like it'd be better to go for T2, go for their own firebase, and then push back. It does, of course, solidify Team 1's control of this position, essentially all over this kind of bay area, which we do see a mirror here for Team 2's Nomander. But the benefit of, or at least the situation that's better for Team 2's Nomander, is that his position is not being overrun as of right now, where the northwestern position here for Mimi's is currently not having a good time. There are a couple of units that are able to push back a little bit, but it is starting to not be tenable here for Team 1 to keep that position long term. But if they get the Navy online, that will be theirs long term, because Team 2 I don't think is going to invest in the Navy anytime soon in either pond. And those forces here for Team 1 and Team 2's players of Mui and Dusky still pushing onward one way or the other. Mui getting a lot of Team 1 PD online. I don't think that Team 1 PD is in range. All the T2 is, at least most of it is. Dusky trying to just be bombarded by those PD, but he takes a shot from a bomber or a missile launcher at minimum. I don't exactly see what it was. I don't see a bomber outbound, so that had to have been a missile. That is devastating. That is a lot of hit points gone. He wasn't killed outright, which is definitely a better scenario to be in, of course, but he is hurting for hit points, but he does have nano and gun, so he's not terrible. But maybe that was no, that was definitely a missile shot. It was going way farther than a missile or an artillery could go. Yep, there it is right there. Completely just missed it. Staring at me in the face, but that was a good snipe from Mui. He noticed that his opponent wasn't moving, fired the shot, hit the shot, didn't get the kill, but forced him back. So almost as good as getting a kill. Not as good, but almost. In the middle, a couple of hoplites online here for Snog. These should definitely be transferred over to Glowstick because he is literally right next to them. Literally right there. It's not like he's over here or whatever and the forces are over here. He is right there. Right in front of those units. Maybe they'll be transferred over. Who knows? Maybe just distracted by other things, but definitely would recommend just transferring those units, especially because there's not a lot of them and it could be easily slotted in. That's just my little 2 cents in that regard. T3 Air, of course, is now online for Team 2's air player, and he is going for bomber, surprisingly enough. But Team 1, I think they have a couple of ASFs online. At least there's one right there, a couple of gunships as well. Getting T2 gunships for some possible snipes. Just getting more ASF, more air superiority fighters on the front lines or just running around. He's stacking them up right behind his teammates' front line position there. Definitely a good place to stack them up because they're easily to respond. They're not just sitting in the back and having to fly all the way across the map or whatever. They're just right there. And it looks like there is a possible move. All of these forces inbound from active backlash go, you know what? We're not going down the middle. We're going right up north. And here they come. They are moving in. This position is not going to feel well after this. There are a lot of Team 1 PD, a lot being 2 of them. And there are, of course, more PD being built all the time. We have some corsairs inbound that will help a little bit, but there's a lot of forces nearby. There's also, I think, a couple of T2 artillery pieces online, those Buthams coming online to assist with bombarding that firebase. So really, it does look like that force does get pushed back. But it does illustrate that if there was enough T2, T3 forces, or even just a lot of T1s and a couple of T2s, They could really crack that position, possibly get a comm, but Snog has gun and nano. Mimi's has T2, one offensive, one defensive. Love that division of work there. But of course, it could come down to possibly if that position is overrun. Mimi's is the target. He is, of course, the highest rated player on Team 1. Always nice to take out the highest rated player as the first player to be taken out, especially on the opposing side. Not always the... It doesn't always guarantee a win. It always helps. But it's always, you know, the nice thing to go after kind of thing. Cruisers are now online here for Team 1 in the northwest for Mimi's. And he's going to secure this position quite nicely. He has now... Well, I mean, it's not looking better. It's looking worse than the last time I checked on this. But he still has control over it. So at least at a minimum he can rebuild. It's not being taken over by his opponents. Nobody has died, surprisingly enough, at 14 minutes and 38 seconds. Knock on wood for these players. And a possible airlocking occurring. Possibly, maybe, possibly not. I don't really know one way or the other. We did see him building first bomber. He's building transport now. So I don't really know what he's doing. I don't even see that bomber. Oh, no, the bomber's over here. The ASF from Team 1 all the way over here, and that bomber is going straight for possibly a T3 PGen. Unfortunately, ASF has now caught wind of that. The bomber is inbound. It's going to drop a payload. It's going to try to go after that PGen. It won't kill it. It essentially has amounted to nothing and dropped, I think it's 1,100 mass? No, it's 1,000, almost a little over 1,000 mass. So, best move? Absolutely not. Didn't even, I think, get any kills with it, not even along the way. So that is a nice little 1,000 mass dumping here from Team 2. That will probably be one of at least a little bit of time before another bomber is built for Bakar. I still don't know how to say his name. Right? Bakar? Or Ray Bakar, and the F is silent? I don't know a lot of languages, at least off the top of my head, that have the F silent like that. So it's maybe Ray Bakar? I don't know. Again, I'm still going to go for Bakar for sure. If anybody in the comments knows how to pronounce his name, please let me know. I try my best to do so. I'm not that successful most of the time, but at least I try. We do see this position from we not going very well. Lots of T2 units inbound, mostly Rhinos, a couple of AA units to assist with any sort of nonsense gunship defense. We're trying to get some more T2 PD. At this point, go for Team 1. It's cheaper. You can produce more of them faster. Of course, the damage and the range is better on the T2s, at least per shot, but you can see, look at the shots just outputting here from these little DM1 plasma cannons. And now we see some tickle cannons in range of the T1s at least. I think Dusky, you may be able to target the shield. Maybe. But it is on the edge. But of course the shield is down, so it doesn't know that, or at least doesn't see it. Missile, of course, is still building. Killed off almost 5,500 mass. That's actually a really, really good missile launcher. Of course, the mass situation is heavily favoring Team 2 at 890, almost 900 mass. Team 1 barely crossing 700 at 715. That's almost 200 mass more, and still haven't found a way to lock this thing. Have not been able to do it. Anyway, I have it on my other machine. Like, I have all these settings set up over the year or so that I've been doing these videos, and for some reason I don't remember any of them because I said it and I forget it and I never remember kind of thing. We do see a Salem has appeared. Actually, another of its brethren has appeared as well, and now bombarding this upper plateau position here for the Regal Blue player of Lieutenant Lich. And he's not feeling well. That's not great to have that constant bombardment going on. He's getting a concussion from that, essentially. Ooh, the shield pops back online, or at least the new one does. And unfortunately, that mech will not live very much longer in that scenario. We see that Team 1 again slowly getting a little bit of gains in the middle. Team 2 has fallen back a little bit. And Team 1 has now lost a little bit of the position here. Strider coming in here with a advanced range, speed, and one shield upgrade, or base shield upgrade. So 8,000 additional hit points plus the 11,000 that he starts with. So 19,000, and he's going to get a veterancy here shortly, so then 10% more than that. So you can, all the math and whatnot. We do see Snog has the range upgrade as well, of course, with speed and nano. But Strider can fight at range further beyond what Snog can shoot at. We see all these missiles coming in and artillery. Not a good day here for both of these commanders. And one of them, Mimi's, has already fled. It is approaching that 20-minute mark, and Smithers is defeated by Nomander in the east. Looks like just a lot of units not a great scenario here for Team 1 losing a player on the eastern side of the map. Luckily for them, there's not a lot of pressure from Navy or any sort of things like we see in the west. But things could take a bad turn for Team 1 if Nomad takes the opportunity to really just shove it down their throats that way. There is a scenario where a monkey could come in, or in this case, a chicken could come in and really just rip apart this base. And Navy doesn't have the base, but in the west, Team 2's Mui takes a hit from Shalongdis, so the gunships got him that we saw him building up a while ago, came in and just ripped them apart. There also are some Notha fighter bombers that probably assisted with that, so while I missed this one, I actually missed this one. Apologies for that. Sorry, I'm smurfing totally. Normally I'm 1200. What is he? No, what is he at? Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to joke around to lighten the mood. Yeah, not a great thing to do after you just kill somebody on the other team. We do see that now it is, I was going to say it's a 6v5, but it is now a 5v5 tied up game once again. And of course it is 19 minutes on the clock here. Definitely a decent time to go over what's going on in the map overall. Team 1 has just lost a player of Smithers. Team 2 has just lost a player of Mui. Okay, making this a 5v5. Team 2's map control a little bit less than Team 1's. I'd say 51% for Team 1, 49%. It's kind of fluid a little bit at the moment. And the eco situation here for both teams. Team 1 has not crossed 1,000 at 950 or so. Team 2 at 1.2k, so we'll just call it 12k, 1.2k even, 1,200 even. Make it about 250 mass more for Team 2 and Team 1. That is not good. Now, of course, mass isn't the only important thing in this game, but it is highly important. You got to have funds to spend on structures, on upgrades, on whatever else you want to spend it on. So Team 2 getting more of that over time is not great. You can see that amount of mass accrued is slowly starting to favor Team 2. But of course, Team 1 can catch up with upgrades and denying mexes and all of that. It'll just take time. But of course, at this moment in the game, please, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to roughly about the midpoint in the video. And hopefully you will enjoy the rest of this match as well. How's the ASF count here going for Team 2? Nah, it's not super great. I mean, both teams don't have a lot of ASFs along this. Sitting at 28, and Team 2's Bukar sitting at... Oh, and then Lieutenant Lynch just control Ks. 12. But hold on. Did he die by pigeons, or did he just die by... Hold on, I usually try to pause it to see what's going on in the chat. If there's any comments about it. I didn't kick, pause game. Well, dead people auto kick, so they just leave. Well, isn't just... I have no idea what that conversation is about, but Team 2 loses another player. Don't really know why. Maybe it'll be something that's brought up a little bit later on. Maybe Glitch will say something in the chat afterwards, but definitely unfortunate here for Team 2 losing a player, especially because this front is being attacked, especially as well with some Harbingers running around here on this upper plateau. I wouldn't be surprised if they were dropped over here, or they were just walked all the way around. They can't walk because there is water that they can't pass. That is the one thing about the Harbingers, is that they can't go in the water from what I remember. The Otham can, the Percy can, and the Brick can. So the only downside to the Harbingers, it can't go on land. But it does have a shield, so that's kind of nice. ASF encounter, definitely a little bit better here for Team 2, but Team 1 turns around and goes, yeah, no, I'm not going to have you just engage me like that. And so unfortunately, the count still favors Team 1, but it is a little bit better for Team 2, but not by much. These Salems are now in the smaller pond. So they have gone from this pond up here, walked across, and now in this pond. Maybe we'll see them walk all the way across and go to this pond. Who knows? They would have to go east, though, and that's not really viable at this point because you're not really doing anything with them at that point once you cross the middle. But this position is now essentially gone, especially with Lich's management now vacated from the scene. T1 bombers overhead trying to crack the shielding. These engineers trying to hastily build some more artillery emplacements to deal with those destroyers in the water. Of course, there is a nice little brick assisting them as well in active Bachelor X. Builds an experimental 21 minutes. I think that's the first one of the game, if I'm not mistaken. It is a chicken, so not super rare to see a chicken first. Usually a monkey is first, but Team 1 or Team 2. See, I knew I would do it at some point. Team 2 doesn't have Cybrin. So They can't build a monkey unless they steal an engineer, which has happened. Very unlikely, but it has happened from time to time. And, oh, are they just going to sprout more legs and just go from no legs, no legs to legs again? I mean, that the angle of attack, not super great because that little cliff is in the way. There are some Ilshis coming in, though. That's not a great thing to see here for those destroyers. If they don't move, they might be all gone. Those Ilshis have now said, no, no soup for you. No destroying for you. Bad, 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 bad. One destroyer is going to go down. The second one is most likely going to go down. These bricks come in to assist, and now some of those destroyers are now firing on said Ilshis. That second destroyer is going to die. The third and fourth one should be fine if the bricks don't just leave the area. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, maybe actually we'll just be fine just because of range. But the Ilshis actually turn around and go, yeah, those bricks shooting at us. We should probably throw some bricks back at them. And by bricks, I mean plasma. And by plasma, I mean shots. And by shots, I mean bricks. So it's an infinite loop. Anyway, in the southeast, Team 2 does dip into Navy a little bit. It is now a matter of getting cruisers online. He has UEF tech. He was able to produce the cruisers that have missiles on board, but he's also Seraphim, which also can do that. So, don't know why he'd do that, but yeah, it's nice to have, you know, a little bit of different tech available to you whenever you want it. We do see as it formed a nice little front line here, a new front line right behind the old one. Lots of PD, couple of TMD, and a mobile Suthanas, a T3 mobile artillery unit, and just poking and prodding at the engineers trying to reclaim up there. This game has kind of turned a little bit more slowly. It's kind of a nice little slow burn right now, except for this over here. This is where a decent chunk of the action has occurred. We've had 2 players die here, and of course one over there. So kind of a little bit spread out. Nothing too concentrated like the middle of the map or that sort of thing. Those 2, Salem's still doing a lot of work. We're almost at 1 veterancy for him. He's already at 1 veterancy, so lots of damage here from these 2 units. And we have a couple of more bricks landing for Snog. So both of these Cyber players in the west for Team 1 doing very well and just being very annoying for Team 2. And of course, that's a lot of attention that has to be thrown at this. There's this position over here that's a little getting annoying here for now Strider. He has having to come in to assist with this. No Mander's secondary base is now not going well. Actually, that's tertiary base because that's his 3rd one. I feel like that should have been handed over to Active Backlash, but that's just my opinion because he's right there. Or he's actually over here, right here, but his base is over there. These units continuing to carve a path, and Team 2 is not making the same inroads that Team 1 is doing. But in terms of map control, Team 1 is heavily winning, and the eco situation not really changed. It's about the same amount of mass difference, so Team 2 isn't losing the lead or gaining the lead. They're just keeping the status quo, which isn't the worst thing. It's not the best thing in their scenario, but it's not bad. We do see the chicken charge forward here for Team 2's Active Backlash, and he's actually but he's leading from the front, pushing it forward to assist. Lots of flak overhead. Those bombers just get annihilated. Ooh. Chicken, of course. Possibly we'll go for that FAF boy that's produced, but there's a monkey now, and that might be a dead calm for Team 2's Active Backlash. That's not great. There's a lot of there they are. There are the Sparkies online here for Glowstick. Love to see those combat engineers. Not a lot of damage, of course, on board, but again, something is better than nothing, and of course 1,000 of anything can't kill anything or easily kill anything. Maybe the Sparkies might be one of the only exceptions to that, at least in this game. I'd have to do one of those like numbers videos of figuring out exactly how many of them can kill a chicken. But that's not maybe the duels. Active Backlash is retreating. 3 Ravagers just ripping apart those hit points. Don't know why you didn't go in with the regen ore at a minimum, to at least help assist with regen for those units, but that column is under constant bombardment from that FAF boy. That attack didn't go well. And they essentially just mass dumped on Team 1 side of the map. Of course, a little bit of repairs need to be done, but not that much, to be fair. And he's still being shot by those Ravagers and the FAF boy, so he really needs to move. And that monkey might be... Nope, he's going to pull back. We're not going to try to hunt for the comp. But still, and now we have in the west, the Salems have now gone back to land. They cannot make a decision. They're like an alligator going from land to water to land to water to land to water. They just can't make a decision. Commander's tertiary base once owned by Lieutenant Lynx is now under fire. Autumn's coming in to assist. And now, I think those Sailors are down to. There's really no way that those Autumns are not going to get there, because it looks like they're going straight for there, and they're gone anyway. Never mind. I think the artillery helped with that a little bit, but still, the Autumns provided a nice little distraction. Another experimental online here for Strider over here. And again, it's one of those scenarios where maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll just see how time goes on with that. But under constant bombardment for FAF boys, that's not great base building techniques. I will definitely admit that. The FAF boys are kind of annoying when it comes to that. But the wall has been broken through, and all of these bricks on the east are ripping apart Commander's facilities just left, right, and center. Well, I guess not center, but left and right at least. Those bricks are not a fan of Nomad in this game at all, at least this game in particular. The Southwest SMD Online, love to see that one here. Would love to see one here, so nice backup. Of course, SMD, there is SMD over there, excuse me. ASF coming in to clean the skies up here. There are some ASFs inbound from not only Team 2's main air player, Bakar, but Nomander as well. He's dipped his toes into the air department, and he's going for it, ladies and gentlemen. Not even 30 minutes on the clock. A T3 artillery installation already coming online and in the yellow. So not only is it just started, not only is it thought about, not only is it planned, but it is on the table, being built. The order is being made while you're sitting there in McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or wherever you get your burger, wherever you get your food, and just you can just smell it like it's being made. It's on its way. Losses, of course. That's the monkey, excuse me, coming in from Team 1's Dusky, pushing in as well just to assist. He's receiving a lot of missile fire, and that's a lot of missiles, of course, every second that he has to deal with. There are some zappers coming online constantly, but I don't think he has enough, and he needs to get a lot more. In the northeast, there is a nuke coming online. I was kind of thinking that's possibly an idea that Shalongdis would be going for. At least somebody on Team 1 is going to go for long range something, and nukes is a good idea. I think Team 2 already knows about it. Oh, yeah, they already know about it. I like how it says Strat Missile Launcher, and it's a nuke right next to it. I feel like you could just said Strat Nuke and call it a day. But anyway, I think that's the only big ticket item here for Team 1 as of right now. Possible artillery piece. Would not like the... oh, it's not a mass extractor, mass fabricator, so that's... I'd rather prefer that be just a T3 PGen instead of a T2 and a T3 right next to one another. Nothing too worrisome here for Team 2. If you're rooting for Team 2, Team 1, of course, has the nuke. Not loaded yet. It's going to be a little bit, so Team 2 is covered here. And here, possibly will be covered here at some point. Possibly will be covered very soon. SMD also over here is loading. This one over here is built and loading. So really the only vulnerable spot is the air grid for Nomander. He might lose that. He's not going to be happy about it, but he will probably lose it. SMD at 28, says Smithers. Yeah, he's like, Team 2, that might be the vulnerable spot to go after. And of course, Smithers is on Team 1 as a refresher, not only for myself. Doesn't sound like I said Team 2 said that, but nope. Team 1 said that. How is the artillery? It's in the green. That thing's going to finish before 30 minutes. That's not good for Team 1. No, not so much. Does Team 1 even know about it? No. I mean, maybe they could tell by the formation of the whatever icons are kind of thing, but there's no pinpoint accuracy until you get actual eyes on it. Get some spy planes, or get a satellite, or get an eye, or if you're really close, get a nice little soothsayer, something. And we do see a couple of strat bombers stacking up here for Mimi's. They've also, the bombers, the not the fighter bombers, have been gifted over to Mimi, so he has all of these very nice units available to him. I don't know what target he would go after at this point. They don't know about the artillery, so that's not it. They would probably be stacking up over here if that was the case. There are some gunships stacking up, but not a terrible amount. They are Volthus. T2, they're not as strong as T3, but again, something's better than nothing. There is, of course, the chicken over here. It looks like they're bombing. And it's going to drop that. Wow, that drops the hit points very quickly. Below 50%, or roughly 50%. And that chicken is very much out of the game, if not just dead as a doornail. Not really going to get as much work into it. It is going to drop into the water. Will it get there soon enough is the question. Bombs drop. 20,000 hit points remaining. Not great. Does have a rank in veterancy though, so it'll wrap up a little bit faster than normal, but still, T2 Twart bombers can easily be deployed and deal with that very quickly. And I will make a note, of course, Mimi's is now in the air game as well, so there are 2 air players for Team 1, 2 air players for Team 2, possibly a third one. It's still at T2, but possibly can go for T3. Artillery is now landing, going for the air grid here for Dusky 805, which is actually gone for air as well. So there was a third air player, but it gets denied. Not going for the nuke. Don't know why, but should go for it. That's my opinion, of course, but this map is a 20 by 20, so maybe it doesn't reach. Ooh, no, it reaches. It would have to be all the way in the corner to not reach, which I have seen players do just to avoid artillery. But it does look like the first shots are inbound for the air grid, take out the power, and siphon off the ability for Slongness to produce, of course, power for the shields, and then go after the nuke. And of course, without power, you produce less mash, which means loading the nuke is slower. You don't have as much power to load said nuke, so it's not a good thing. Slongness will take a hit. Oh, and he almost dies! Ooh, he's got to move. He's got to move. There's no way he can sit there. That is not a good thing. That P-Gen just ripped him apart. Ooh, good thing he wasn't a Cybern, because he'd be dead. Yeah, if he was a Cybern, he'd be dead right now, because Seraphim comms have 1,500 hit points more starting off than Cyberns do, and he was less than 1,500, so that would have been a dead commander if he went Cybern this match. So, ooh, that was a close call for him, and Aeon would be at like 500, 600 hit points at this point. Not great for Team 1. That's really going to focus him on defense. And of course, his power's not doing well. Missiles. Oh, the missiles are inbound. And what are they going for? They're going for the... Ooh, there are 4 GCs stacked up. Is that enough missiles to just one-tap a GC? Maybe. That's a lot of missiles. And they're going for... Oh, they're going for this one. Oh, that was, I think, just enough. I think that 1 or 2 extra that were kind of cobbled together, if that was 1 or 2, that was enough. That is a dead unit. That's a very great snipe for Glowstick. I mean, the units were sitting there. He saw him. He went, and then sniped it and killed it. So that's 1 unit he doesn't have to deal with. And that's a very good unit to take out, of course. We have some Autumn stacking up next to the Salem bodies we took out early on. Crab over here. Not the best in terms of where it's sitting on the elevation side of things, but he is doing decent well of moving it westward. We see in the southwest P-Gens being stacked up and lots of satellites. Interesting alignment here, because the adjacency only works unless it's, you usually have to get the full, essentially, the width or the length or whatever of the thing you want an adjacency with in the align. Anyway, it just doesn't work if it's not fully aligned, essentially, with the structure that you're trying to get adjacency with. I know that came out probably weird, but I think most people get what I'm talking about. Anyway, Nuke still online, about to be loaded. You got to fire that immediately. Looks like Saunders is going for an experimental, most likely a nano, not experimental, but upgrade. The shields are still holding. P-Gen goes down. That's not going to help, but the nuke launches immediately because he knows it's under fire. Where is it going? Is it going here? Because if it goes here, it's going to get shot down. That's very unfortunate. Ooh, where is that nuke going, I suppose? Ooh. Oh, no, it's going south. Oh yeah, that's a dead nuke, that's for sure. There is an experimental in the water. It's a molecular. It's heavily wounded. It cannot go up this way. It has to go essentially north and then southwest, right through the wall and then down there. And on the eastern side here, we have the artillery starting to be a little bit vulnerable here. There's a land attack inbound. Not going to get all the way through, of course, but that is worrisome for Nomander. There is a land army moving in, as well as a secondary one right alongside it. This lowest section of the map. They could couple together and really shove it in Nomander's face. There goes that nuke to that SMD. But we do see, of course, in the west, Snog doing the exact same thing. So sending a small army east to assist and another army west to assist. He's being a really good assisting player in the land game. trying to assist with keeping the middle online, keeping them nice and secure, and then pushing on the essentially flanks, keeping the middle exposed for Team 2 at least. Now we see that the Colossi have split up, one over here and two over there. There would have been two over here, but one died to a missile, and that Colossus is not going to be enough. There's a lot of bricks. This game is now slowing down to -1 to +1. Possibly my machine, possibly the game. I'm going to blame my machine because this machine is not as good as the one that I have back home. I will tell you that. In the west here, this base here for Nomad that once belonged to Lich is now dead and gone. It's not reanimated like a Lich. I think so. I'm thinking about it for a second. I would presume that a Lich is reanimated. I think you can become a Lich if you're still alive. I can't remember all that lore with D&D or other fantasy stuff like that. We do see a couple of bombers get spotted. Not going to go anywhere. Great attempt, doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately. Kind of like the other bomber that happened in the beginning. You see in the west another artillery piece online here for Team 2's Western player of active backlash. So we have two T3 artillery installations online, not shooting at the same target. Wouldn't recommend that, but they are trying to take out all the power, I think. There is an artillery piece started just barely by Snog, and it is going to hit the shields. It's not going to kill anything off, but it will strike the shields just barely. And in the east, looks like it's going after this position. Same again, going after the P-gens. Always a good idea, but of course, the longer the game goes on, the more P-gens there are for some players than others, which means there's more overflow for some than others. So it's really nice to have that kind of like, hey, I am out of power, but my teammate has power, so I'll just siphon off them. Should you do that all the time? Absolutely not. Can you use it once in a while? Absolutely. You see a lot of gunships coming into deploy. The chicken is walking backwards. You never see it that much, but a chicken, just like a crab, can walk backwards. Is it great? I think it's a little bit more easily achievable, possibly. I just don't know how many move commands you need. But that chicken is dead, and in this scenario, I don't know, maybe you would actually want the chicken to just blow up right in the middle of all these bricks and call it a day. It just depends on how fast Dusky responds to the chicken dying. If he's very quick, you don't want that. But if he's not quick, yeah, you want that. That's a very good value dead chicken and Ion Storm, but, you know, each their own, that sort of thing. Lots of bombers stacking up here for Glowstick just in case, because, again, the whole situation is why not. In the west here, there's a little bit more pushback, but Team 1 is scooping up the mass, at least starting to. You can see the engineers building up here, getting a lot of factories to, again, pump out engineers, because it's just going to be produce engineer, move order to scoop everything up, die, repeat. That's essentially the life of an engineer in those scenarios. In the southeast, we have a couple of bricks going after some SACUs in the water. This is going to be a little bit of value. It'll take a little bit to chew through all the hit points and the regen a little bit. Not terrible on the regen, but of course we've seen SACUs with 300, 400 hit points per second, so there is definitely a difference. And then Bannable Offense is trying to cheat. I guess he's being an observer in this game. He's kind of watching, hanging out, but he's trying to cheat apparently. Don't know why that message pops up once in a while, but it does. I think it's just a random, maybe just a command for, like, I don't know, debug or something that's just not working in this game. I don't know. I'm not very knowledgeable about that. We have some offense and some engineers just offering their lives to assist. The gunships will be enough to deal with this. And of course, the chicken is defeated, but in the case where most of those bricks are now dead anyways, the net positive for Team 2, that the units are dead from Team 1, and they can easily get the mass, but there is still a unit over there, so something to worry about. And in the west, of course, we have those GCs, actually 3 GCs fight, but the monkey is dead, the GCs are dead, the crab is dead, the chicken remains. The chickens, for some reason, are always just persistent, even after death in this game and in real life. They are persistent, I will say that. Now, they're not nasty by any means, they're just persistent. You see in the middle there are 3 fat boys, and now we have, okay, I will make this comment, I think maybe once this game, maybe at least once. T3 artillery targeting mobile units. Not the best idea. Now, if the units aren't moving for a very long time, that's different, but can you always know that? No. just don't agree with it. Now, if we're talking about a Scathish just blanketing a bunch of shots on a land army, that's different. Because there's a lot of shots, and you can do a lot of damage with. Because it is, of course, an area effect weapon. But you can do a lot of damage. I mean, maybe you just take the shields off, maybe a volley or two of these fat boys, but after a couple of volleys, the third or fourth volley, those fat boys not feeling good afterwards. So they gotta go home and rethink their life, stop selling death sticks and stuff like that. In the southwest, air grid not really being expanded upon anymore, but the satellites are coming online for Bukhar. We knew he was planning those for a while, so he's almost done with one of them. We do see in the southeast artillery still coming online. Oh, there it is. 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 It is the T4 experimental nuke launcher, or I should say experimental missile launcher of the Seraphim variety. It is the Yolana Os, or YOLO for short. And honestly, a really good YOLO would just be right here. Now, in that scenario, killing off a bunch of land units with one nuke, very efficient. Very nice. Could do a lot of damage very quickly. I mean, it's a nuke. I don't know if the nuke does infinite damage. I'm not entirely sure. I think it just does a lot of damage, but it kills everything. So maybe there's like a 900,000, 999 damage it does, and then that's essentially it kills everything. I don't know how that works. I'm not one of the, again, I'm not the duelist where I do like math videos about FAF and stuff, which again, very good videos I will admit. But yeah, I just don't really know off the top of my head how much damage it does. I know the regular nukes do 70, I believe, and then I think I want to say the subs also do 70, but I think it's a shorter range. Or I think they do, I don't know. Like I said, maybe they do 60. I just have to watch a sub nuke. There's no sub in this game, so I can't just magically watch it and kill something in order to try to kill something kind of thing. This army is shifting south with this base. Not gonna survive much longer, because those are 3 fat boys inbound. And there's some gunship. There's no land presence what to speak of. There's 1 fat boy being produced. Not going to last that much longer, of course, because it's a while to build. Nuke launcher in the northeast, still loading. Almost loaded once again. Zholong just took a little bit of a hit, but he shielded up quite nicely, and the artillery isn't coming from him. Everybody's shielded at this point. The artillery here for Team 1, I feel like it's taken a hit, because it was definitely going to be a lot further along for Snog, because it's been a while, but maybe he just stopped building it for a little bit. It's possible, but I feel like it would have been a lot longer, a lot farther along at this stage. At 38 minutes on the clock. Gunships ripping apart that monkey. Monkey barely gets to that mix. I think it was T3, at least T2. So no man is going to be a little annoyed, but he did stop a monkey, so the trade for mass isn't bad. And it was a T3 mech, so he'll be a little annoyed at the 27 mass per second he's losing, but the YOLO, it is firing. It is going after the land army. His ASFs are sinking. He's got to move. He's got to move. Those are dead ASFs. You got to move them. And look at this. Hardly see it ever. Bukhar using the defense satellite as an actual legitimate defense satellite. Should I think it should be renamed to satellite? Absolutely. Should I think it'd be possibly renamed to offensive satellite? Possibly. But here goes that YOLO. Kaboom! Oh, no, I didn't miss any nukes because no nukes have actually landed yet. So I was like, oh wait, I haven't said kaboom this video. Oh yeah, because the nuke didn't actually land last time. And Snog says GG. Now, is it GG yet? No. The fact that Team 1 probably just knows about it just now? Oh, that's not great. Because they need to build SMDs, they need to go an attack plan to take out the YOLO. There's a lot of things that go into that. You can defeat a YOLO with SMD. You just need enough build power and enough SMDs. And enough shielding. Just to protect the SMDs. And engineer. Pretty much it. Now, is Team 1 prepared? No. And there's not one there. And nope. He doesn't have any SMDs? That's weird. And nope. No SMDs over there. So no. 3 bases with no SMDs, 39 minutes, almost 40 minutes. No SMD. The only SMD is Dusky over here, who has one loaded. There's nothing else built yet. So that's at least, I was going to say 1 free nuke, but at least 2 free nukes. And he does go for the middle just to kind of delay any sort of incoming land units, which is definitely a smart move to do. I would have gone for a base, but that's just me. And that is a definite kaboom. And there goes the everything. I do love how they landed literally on top of them. And they're like, well, this is fine. It's like the whole meme of the, oh, I can never remember the kid's name from Simpsons, but he's just sitting in the bus and he's like, I'm in danger. That's literally that. Just a bunch of missile launchers being like, that's not good. Now the nuke is outbound. I mean, those are being loaded very quickly. I think Nomander's putting most of his mass into that. I mean, he's still, to be fair, he's still gaining a little bit of mass in his bar. So he is not spending enough to actually spend all that mass. He's sitting on a hefty chunk of mass, too. So he could really super load that thing. And he's already super loading it as we speak. He's doing a very good job of balancing that eco. I mean, he is a 2200, to be fair. So he should be pretty good at balancing his eco. You would assume. Now, we know what happens when you assume, but in this situation, you would probably assume correctly. Nuke is outbound, going for active backlashes, defensive grid of all of his PD and artillery pieces. I think they saw the comm there. Ooh, and the ASFs are saying, you gotta move, you gotta move. Oh, kaboom! That is a good nuke. Not just. Apologies for the cut there. My device ran out of space for the recording, so I had to go back and delete some stuff that I didn't need anymore to make space for the rest of this video, which I have now moved to a different location that has plenty of space. But the joys of finding stuff out while you're recording and at the end of recording and all that. But Team 2's No Matter has killed off Mimi's kaboom, kaboom. And there goes another player on Team 1, dropping this to a 4v4 tied up game here. And there's another kaboom. And of course, this one landed almost the same time this did. Granted, the fact that the one that was up there traveled way farther than the other one did. But still, this guy, No Matter, is just loading these things up and just sending them across the map. Of course, his artillery is also nice to just kind of poke at stuff now, but it's more like a gnat versus just a giant beehive just buzzing everywhere, or just, you know, a rhino running through the everything. This game is not going well for Team 2 as of right now, as it's kind of been stated for the past couple minutes at this point. We do have 4 or 5 main player bases here. The only one, of course, knocked out so far is Mimi's. So the eco situation, not great. But what is this? Snog teleports in and takes out Team 2's regular player of Bakar. Looks like he's going to teleport out. It would be very, not great, but it would be efficient, roughly, to just nuke the base. But I don't think it's going to work out. He's going to teleport away. Did he go back to base? No, he teleported over here. He's going to go after the nuke or the YOLO. And there's a lot of Ravagers, a lot of Team 1 PD. He's gone. Ooh, that's rough. There's an SACU hanging out. And he just kind of witnesses the explosion. Team 2's No Matter kills off another player for Team 1, dropping this game to a 3v4 now in favor of... Actually, no, it's a tied-up game, excuse me, because Bakar got destroyed as well, so it is a tied game once again. But No Matter has killed off Mimi's, has killed off Snog, has killed off Smithers. He has so far killed off everybody on Team 1 that is now dead. Which is very impressive, I might add. Smithers, of course, was early on. Okay, well, glow stick just control Ks because of the everything going on. So that's kind of unfortunate here for Team 1. And that nuke is inbound and is not looking good. Oh, there he goes. Not looking great here for Team 1, and there goes the nuke. Kaboom! There goes that. Not much left standing there. Seeing a bunch of units that still look mine. Oh, weird. Oh yeah, what the heck? That's super weird. So yeah, apparently these units from Bakar just did not transfer over, and a bunch of engineers as well, and mass storages. That's super weird. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter, but that could matter in other games where some player dies and the units are... I don't know if they can still be transferred over or not. Huh. Yeah, I don't know if that's like a glitch or something. I'm assuming it's a glitch, but that's very weird. Anyway, kaboom! There's another nuke. How much mass has this thing killed off now, I wonder? 600,000 mass and climbing. There's still 1, 2, 3 main player. Well, at this point there's 2 because there's one right here and one up here. Another nuke is inbound. Will it go for the comm? Is it going straight for the base? It is straight for the base. Okay, Nomad, your RDs are bigger, your nukes are bigger. We get it. So long this. Just giving him a hard time. Kaboom! There goes a nuke. That's probably going to add maybe close to 100,000 mass. Oh, is it going to clip the comm? No, looks like it's just barely out of range. The AA emplacement next door is nothing really too bad. Yeah, it might have been bug. You can still control K. Yeah, that's, again, it's not really that important at this stage because of the everything else going on. It looks like the ASF going in just because why not? I don't know. There's an Albatross bomber being built there because why not spend the mass on something else other than that? I don't know. Maybe they're just spending mass to spend mass to just spend mass, I guess. But there goes another nuke. Kaboom! And I will make a note. I'm just kind of like leaning over at the recording because I have it up on a second screen. Luckily, I have a second screen with me. Or just in the where I'm currently recording. And the audio is not playing. I don't know why. So that's going to be something that I investigate later. Kaboom! There it goes. Another nuke. So I do apologize ahead of time. So when the video will release, I think it started a couple minutes into the cut. So again, the stuff that is being experienced while you're not in your normal setup is very, very interesting. But the ASFs did go after a... They still went after something. They haven't been given more commands, but looks like they can still act and work properly, which is very weird. But anyway, now we have some artillery landing on some SACUs. I guess there's 3 of them now firing. I think there's 2. Yeah, there's 2 of course, the Seraphim one and 1 of the Aeon kind. But again, at this point, 45 minutes on the clock here. We're running a +1. You can see that the recording speed is at +21 because I was just speeding up to get back to... where I was in the recording to finish recording the video. But there goes this new kaboom. There's 1. Actually, no, there's 0 bases left, excuse me. All of them are officially gone. That leaves only the 2 commanders remaining. 46 minutes on the clock here. This is enough for a mega for sure. Yeah, most definitely. How much is it at now? 800,000 mass plus. I mean, that's, shoot, almost 4 game enders, depending on the game. I think they don't all cost the same, but they're pretty close. And here comes another nuke. This is going to end the game right here. Double kill here for the last moment of the game. That's a boom. There he goes. Oh, they survived the initial explosion, but there goes 1. There goes 2. They weren't getting out of there anytime soon. And that is the game here, folks. 46 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock. Don't know why the audio cut out there. We'll have to investigate that at some point. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And my pick for MVP, I mean, the man did so much with that YOLO. How much mass? How much mass? 833,000 mass killed with that one YOLO. So... game-winning move, of course. It just wiped the floor with Team 1. They were not prepared for it. And it shows with all of the mexes gone, with all of the holes everywhere. I don't know how many nukes landed. There's even another nuke inbound, because why not? There was so many of them just dotted around the map to boom, 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 everywhere. But again, thank you so much for watching. And then, I do apologize for the really weird cut in the video and the audio not working at the tail end of it. I'll try to investigate what's going on with that. Hopefully I have an easy solution, but the audio worked for most of it, so maybe there's just an issue with something not working or whatever. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one.